The secrets of Jeffrey Epstein are buried deep. Why is no one asking the right questions about this enigmatic figure? Why are we so quick to accept the official narrative even though it doesn't add up? This video is not for the faint of heart. It will delve into the murky depths of Epstein's life, exposing the unanswered questions that have haunted his legacy. Where did his vast wealth come from? Where is his money now? How did he evade justice for so long? Who was protecting him? Who did he work for? This is an investigation into the truth that no one dares to find or talk about. It will challenge your perceptions and leave you with more questions than answers. But it's a story that needs to be told. We are not going to let the story fade into obscurity. We will keep asking the hard questions and we will demand answers until the truth is revealed. We deserve to know the truth about Jeffrey Epstein, and we deserve justice for his victims. Subscribe now to join the fight for truth, and if you like the video, please share it with all. Let's begin. First, let's summarize the story in short. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was an American financier, was born in Brooklyn, New York, on January 20, 1953. He attended the Dalton School and Cooper Union for the advancement of science and art, but never earned a degree. Epstein began his career in finance in the early 1980s. He worked for Bear Stearns and later founded his own hedge fund, J. Epstein and Company. He was known for his wealth and lavish lifestyle, and he associated with many powerful and influential people. In 2005, Epstein was arrested in Florida on charges of sex trafficking of a minor. He pleaded guilty to 2 state felony charges and served 13 months in jail with work release. In 2019, Epstein was arrested again on federal charges of sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. He was found dead in his jail cell on August 10, 2019, while awaiting trial. His death was ruled a suicide by hanging. He was a complex and enigmatic figure, and his case has raised questions about power, privilege, and the justice system. Let's try to answer some of the questions, like for example, where did he get the money that fast from? This is really mind-blowing. Jeffrey Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York, on January 20, 1953. His father, Seymour Epstein, was a traveling salesman, and his mother, Paula Wolf, was a homemaker. Epstein had one sibling, a younger brother named Mark. Epstein attended the Dalton School, a prestigious private school in New York City. He was a good student and was known for his intelligence and charm. After graduating from high school, Epstein attended Cooper Union for the advancement of science and art, but he never earned a degree. Epstein began his professional life by teaching at the Dalton School despite lacking a college degree. What? How? How many people do you all know have done this? And yet Epstein taught calculus and physics. Yes, you heard it right, physics. Now check this out. When he was a teacher, Epstein tutored Bear Stearns chairman Ace Greenberg's son and was friendly with his daughter. Anyway, after his dismissal from the school in 1976, he entered the banking and finance sector. Where did he work? You got it right, at Bear Stearns in various roles. Epstein did well at the firm and was made a limited partner before he decided to leave in 1981 to start his own firm, his own hedge fund, J. Epstein and Company. Epstein was known for his investment success and his ability to attract wealthy clients. New York Magazine credited those who know Epstein and the lore for the only existing and still vague details of the firm's business, which for tax purposes was run from the island of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The firm only accepted clients with $1 billion or more of assets and has been shrouded in secrecy since its founding. Les Wexner, the founder of the clothing brand The Limited and a high flyer in the fashion industry, has been the only identified client of the firm. My belief is that Jeff maintains some sort of money management firm, though you won't get a straight answer from him, one investor said once. But did he start working with his money? Or the money was for someone else? If so, who did he work for? One well-known investor told New York Magazine of Epstein in 2002. He once told me he had 300 people working for him, and I've also heard that he manages Rockefeller money. Now wait a minute. I think this would explain a lot. Is this true? If it's, then we have the first lead, but one never knows. It's like looking at the Wizard of Oz. There may be less there than meets the eye. Epstein's wealth and influence grew rapidly. Of course, he became a prominent figure in New York City society, and he associated with many powerful and influential people. By 1996, Epstein was the official owner of the largest private residence in Manhattan. He would also later purchase homes in Paris, Miami, New Mexico, and the entire island of Little St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Epstein bought the 72-acre Little St. James Island in 1998 for $7.95 million and bought the 165-acre Great St. James Island in 2016 for nearly $20 million. With this being said, one of the most important questions now is, where is the money? If it was his money, then there would be no problem giving away the money back to the victims. But this isn't the case here. That's why we assume that the money wasn't him. The exact whereabouts of Epstein's wealth are unknown. After his death, his estate was placed under the control of a court-appointed trustee who is responsible for distributing the assets to Epstein's heirs and creditors. However, the trustee has not disclosed any details about the specific assets that have been recovered or how they will be distributed. Two executors of Jeffrey Epstein's estate have been accused of moving some of the late billionaire pedophile's wealth into a trust that could benefit them to the tune of at least $13 million. Darren Indyke, Epstein's personal attorney, and Richard Kahn, the estate's in-house accountant, have long been accused of mismanaging his wealth to avoid paying out his victims. The two have been accused of transferring millions to the Butterfly Trust, which Epstein started in 2013, authorities in the U.S. Virgin Islands said in a legal filing Friday, the New York Times reported. Epstein's notorious Little St. James Island, which he owned from 1998 until his 2019 death, is under the Virgin Islands jurisdiction. The money transfer took place nearly a year after Epstein committed suicide in his Manhattan prison cell. Epstein's estate is worth around $185 million, not even a third of the $600 million it was worth when Epstein died, thanks to over $120 million in settlement payments to victims as well as federal taxes. Indyke and Kahn have also been accused of not disclosing loans worth several million dollars provided to them by Epstein. In April 2020, the Butterfly Trust received a $13 million wire transfer 10 months after Epstein's death. A chunk of that money was transferred again later that year to 3 different entities, 2 of which stood to benefit Indyke, Kahn, and their spouses. Denise George, the Virgin Islands Attorney General, is asking a judge to force Epstein's estate to allow them to investigate where the money is going. Daniel Weiner, an attorney for the Epstein estate, denied the charges on Indyke and Kahn's behalf, saying they categorically reject the baseless assertions of wrongdoing made against them. Weiner claims neither Indyke nor Kahn ever saw the $13 million. He added, the 2013 Butterfly Trust mentioned in today's filing by Ms. George has nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Epstein's estate or any funds available to it. These latest accusations continue a long-running legal battle between Epstein's estate and the Organized Territory. In an amended complaint filed in February 2021, George accused Indyke and Kahn of acting like captains in his pedophile operation, forcing some foreign victims into arranged marriages with his American victims so they could enter the United States. She says Epstein threatened bodily harm against 3 of his American victims to get them to marry 3 foreign victims, and that, in each instance, Indyke and Kahn knowingly facilitated the fraudulent and coerced marriages, performing and securing the legal and accounting work involved and enabling a fraud that would further bind Epstein's victims to him and enable Epstein to continue to control and abuse these victims sexually. One unnamed victim quoted in the lawsuit said many girls she saw at Epstein's island didn't speak English, which was Epstein's preference since they spoke less. The 2 executors deny any involvement in the sex trafficking operation. Neither Mr. Indyke nor Mr. Kahn had any involvement in any misconduct by Mr. Epstein of any kind at any time, they said in a statement. George sought to freeze the estate's funds after a February 2021 announcement that the administrator of the Epstein Victims Compensation Program would temporarily halt payouts because most of the estate's estimated $240.8 million of assets, down from a peak of around $634 million, were illiquid. She said her worst fear was realized when the payments stopped and that the estate is being mismanaged. The estate has found its way to pay for lawyers, landscaping, and helicopter fees, but not the brave women who have stepped forward to participate in the compensation fund. It is, unconscionably, another promise made and broken by Epstein and now his estate, she said. Epstein was discovered to have put his affairs in order just 2 days before his suicide. He named Kahn and Indyke as co-executors and his brother, Mark Epstein, 65, a multi-millionaire property developer, as sole heir to his estimated $577 million fortune. But it is from that fortune which victims who have lost the opportunity to have their day in court against Epstein since prosecutors dropped the case are now seeking compensation. Federal prosecutors for the Southern District of New York, who led the case against Epstein, vowed at the time of the suicide that the investigation would not end with his death and would now focus on the financier's network of associates. Epstein, who once boasted an array of high-profile friends including Prince Andrew and President Bill Clinton, was arrested in July 2019, accused of arranging to have sex with dozens of underage girls at his residences in New York City and Florida between 2002 and 2005. He had pleaded not guilty to the charges. The government discovered that substantial funds kept secret from the government were transferred for the benefit of the co-executors in an apparent effort to enrich themselves and shelter these assets from recovery, the filing read. Did that mean his employer or employers? The name that popped up earlier. We think following the money will lead authorities to the right people. However, some of Epstein's wealth may have been seized by authorities as part of his criminal investigations. In 2019, the FBI raided Epstein's properties and seized a number of items, including cash, jewelry, and artwork. However, it is unclear how much of this wealth has been recovered or how it will be used. Apparently working for powerful individuals, or maybe in Epstein case families, will explain how could he make that kind of relationship so fast? And also how he evaded justice for so long. Epstein's ability to make connections with powerful and influential people was one of the keys to his success. He was known for his charm and his ability to network, and he was able to build relationships with some of the most powerful people in the world. Especially when working for powerful people, does that make sense? We think so. Epstein's connections also allowed him to access opportunities that would not have been available to him otherwise. His association with some of the most powerful people in the world also made him more difficult to investigate and prosecute. This contributed to the sense of impunity that allowed him to continue to abuse young women for so many years. Now what would you do when you want to clean dirty money? You guessed it right, money laundry. Epstein was a generous philanthropist, and he donated money to various charities and institutions. Same did Escobar. Epstein was found dead in his jail cell on August 10, 2019, while awaiting trial. His death was ruled a suicide by hanging. The circumstances surrounding his death have been the subject of much controversy. Jeffrey Epstein was a controversial and enigmatic figure. His life and death have raised important questions about power, privilege, and the justice system. His case has also shone a light on the issue of sex trafficking, and it has forced a reckoning with the ways in which wealthy and powerful individuals can use their influence to abuse vulnerable people. His legacy is a legacy of unanswered questions, a puzzle that we may never fully comprehend. But his story is one that must be told, a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and the fight against injustice. Did he really hang himself? We all doubt, but till some new evidence comes up, some people will continue to follow up. Don't forget to like and share, and let's know what you think in the comment.